Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ferdina. Here I am as the second speaker. Now I would like to continue to explain the journal article entitled The Relationship Between Second Language Acquisition Process and English Language Teaching in Indonesia by Brits Huta Barat. Okay, number 4 is Finding and Analysis. Communicative competence versus academic competence. There are 17 students have chosen communicative competence as their preference. Referring to communicative competence, the students find that it is easier to use a second language as if it were their native language. In other words, they do not pay much attention to grammatical rules or usage. Therefore, for them, fluency is more important than accuracy. And then there are 9 students prefer academic competence. As soon as they have mastered the grammatical rules and vocabulary, they feel confidence to use the second language. And for them, accuracy is more important than fluency. There is only one student has chosen both communicative competence and academic competence. Okay, next, acquiring versus learning language. There are 10 students consider acquiring language to be more significant than learning language. This indicates that acquiring language should be done earlier than learning language. In other words, a learner has to learn either a second language or a foreign language. He or she learns a native language or the first language. And then there are 16 students prefer learning language to acquiring language. They find that it is more appropriate to learn a second language before they are able to use it. In other words, the study of grammar should be done first before using the language. Then, what are students' reflections of the theories of second language acquisition in relation to the teaching of English as a foreign language in Indonesia? Due to the limitation of the research, only 12 data and their analysis. Alright, from student 1, he thinks that speaking is the most important skill in acquiring English. A student who has high affective filter will be very careful in engaging a conversation or even in collaborative activities in the classroom, as he would feel insecure about sharing his opinions, worrying that other students would ridicule him. The student also sees the relationship between knowledge and performance in learning English, in which he thinks that having sufficient knowledge about the language or grammar rules will help him in developing communicative competence. Okay, then from student 2, it is clear that the dominant aspect in the student's success of struggling learning English is related to her mental state or affective factor. The student was shy and afraid of making mistakes, which has hindered better progress in her English learning. Then student 3 mentions several important themes in learning English, namely the importance of developing communicative competence, then the development of English skills, and then the role of students' first language in learning a second or foreign language, and the 3 status of language usage. Okay, then student 4 emphasizes the importance of motivation in learning English as a second or foreign language and the benefits of learning English. Then student 5 emphasizes the importance motivation in learning English. Then student 6 acknowledges the benefits from having an early start in learning English as a second or foreign language, as her parents introduced her with some English vocabulary. Then student 7 really appreciates acquiring process when it comes to be able to communicate in a second or foreign language. And then student 8 thinks that having grammatical knowledge and content knowledge is very important to build communicative competence. Student 9 acknowledges that there are several factors contributing to the success of learning or acquiring English as a second or foreign language, such as daily conversations, the role formal learning, the role of L1 in learning and L2, and the importance of affective factor in learning English. And then student 10 thinks that having early exposure of the target language is very beneficial in terms of gaining higher proficiency level. And then student 11 believes that a language is best learned through meaningful and natural conversation away from classroom interactions. And the last, student 12 really values the interactions with native speakers of the target language as a primary way to learn a second or foreign language. The last point is point 5 about conclusion and situation. So the conclusion is from the first question that they answer, it can be concluded that most of the respondents have chosen academic competence rather than interpersonal competence in teaching a second or foreign language. Referring to the second question, the last group is overusers who are too cautious about linguistic competence that they do not have confidence in speaking and writing. Consequently, they become slow learners or even incompetent in communication using a second language. Then in answering the third question concerning the respondents' preference of using any particular method, respondents have a different approach for their preference, which is based on their experience either in class or outside class. Okay, the suggestion is this research can be beneficial for the readers in general, of course, and those who are interested in second language and foreign language learning or teaching. Although this research is considered to be fundamental, it is expected that it can become a starter for young researchers. That's all from us. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.